Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to CAIIB Grade B. So in this particular session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline that what we are going to study in the few couple of classes, right? So first thing first, I'm going to introduce with the basics of human resource management, right? So I'm going to discuss the first component of it, that is called as human resource planning. So my topic for today is human resource planning. Now, as I will be discussing this particular term, there will be many things that I will be discussing side by side. And believe me, these are just the notes, right? These are just the pointers that we shall be knowing before we discuss the topic in its entirety. And this is also going to give you a bird's eye view. How does this topic looks like? So first of all, what is human resource planning, right? We have understood that the task of human resource department is to hire people. That's what we all know. But human resource planning means, if I have to include two words over here, what are those words that I'll be including? These are right type, right? Right type of people in right numbers. So in just 4 words, I have given you a theme how the human resource department works. Right type of people in the right number. So these are the two things onto which the human resource department focuses. Fine. Now after this, I shall be dividing this into two further subparts, right? One, I'm calling it as hard HRP, and the second word that I will be using is called as soft HRP. So now we'll be having two bifurcations of this particular thing. Number one, hard HRP, and then we have soft HRP. The word HRP being human resource planning. This is the function of your human resource department, right? Now over here, what does hard HRP means? Hard human resource planning means the quantitative analysis, right? You have to determine the quantity. This is quantitative analysis. And then I have soft HRP. Soft HRP is all about qualitative analysis. Just see this particular thing and then we shall be discussing forward. Okay, so this is the chart that I want to have the first means I want you to have the first understanding of this particular chart, right? Now we will be focusing on to hard HRP and soft HRP. What do they mean? So let us have a focus onto it. I hope the green pen will be visible to you. So I'm using it. Soft HRP means when the HR person is hiring people, they are focusing over attitude, right? Because that also matters in an organization. When a particular person is hired for any particular organization, it does not matter, obviously it matters that how many number of years experience he is having, what is the qualification he is having, but at the same time, if the 50% role is of the experience as well as the qualification, 50% role is also played by the attitude. ठीक है, किस तरीके का आपका एटीट्यूड है टुवर्ड्स द वर्क, टुवर्ड्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, towards your previous organizations, towards your peers, etc., etc. So in the soft HRP, we will be focusing on to the attitude, right? So this will be our focus in the soft HRP. And then we have hard HRP. What did we talk about in hard HRP? We talked about quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis means, very simply, I am focusing on to the number. Right? Number is the thing that I will be focusing on to the hard HRP. So these are the two bifurcations that we have of human resource planning: hard HRP, soft HRP. Now as I move forward over here, see, now the next thing that we shall be discussing is, basically, human resource planning is what? Human resource planning is all about balancing the demand and supply, right? Who's going to demand? So यहाँ पे demand कहाँ से आएगी? So demand is going to come from the line authorities. Demand is going to come from line authorities. तो ये line authorities क्या होती हैं? Basically, see, when you are working in a manufacturing organization, there is production department, right? There is sales department, there is marketing department, and these departments are called as line, right? इनको क्या कहा जाता है? Line. Basically, HR department is fulfilling the demand of all these line authorities. For example, the sales personnel is asking for 4 sales executive. Now that is a demand which needs to be fulfilled by the HR, right? So this is from where the demand comes. Now what about supply? So supply is from the labor market, right? From the labor market. Wait for a second. Yes, sorry for the disturbance. So yes, we have demand and supply. Managing these is the function of HR department. Now let us discuss forward. Now you also know that there was a recent report by India Skills, right? India Skills report 2023 says that 5% of the people are formally skilled, right? Formally skilled means they have the formal skills with them, and 50% of the graduates are employable. ठीक है, ऐसा मैं नहीं कह रही हूँ, ऐसा this has been said by the India Skills report 2023. 50% of the graduates, if 100 लोगों ने अगर ग्रेजुएशन किया है तो उसमें से सिर्फ 50 लोग ही ऐसे हैं जिनको नौकरी दी जा सकती है. What does that mean? That means that there has been a decreased quality of education being provided. So demand is high, supply is even more, but out of this particular supply we have to pick up diamonds for our company. That means कि हमें हमारी कंपनी के लिए किस तरीके के एम्प्लॉइज की जरूरत है, हमें उस तरीके के एम्प्लॉइज चाहिए, राइट? It is not always true that one person is going to fit in all the organizations. ऐसा कहीं भी नहीं लिखा हुआ है, right? One person may not fit different sort of organizations. So that is why in the labor market there is huge supply, but at the end of the day you have to decide that which person is good for you. Okay, so we have discussed this, that managing demand and supply is the work of human resource planning. Now let us move to this particular thing. So I told you that see, I told you quantitative analysis, I told you qualitative analysis, right? They do have different names allotted to them. So qualitative analysis, where I am checking the attitude of people, basically what I am going to do over here is job analysis, right? This is there in your syllabus. This is called as job analysis. It further obviously have two further subdivisions that we shall be discussing in a bit moment. In the quantitative analysis, we do two kinds of analysis. Number one, we have demand forecasting. And then we have supply forecasting. Right? Now see this very clearly because we have to move forward. So we talked about human resource planning. Human resource planning का मतलब होता है when HR department tries to see that what is the right quantity and right quality of people that will be suitable for its organization. Obviously, the whole HR process starts with number one thing, and that is called as planning. आप कोई भी काम करो, whether you are producing something, right? You are manufacturing something, you are producing something, you need to do planning. Whether you are selling something, you need to do planning. You are studying, you need to do planning. So basically, if you are doing the HR function, then also you need to do the planning. And these are the two things according to that. Quantitative, qualitative analysis. Qualitative analysis is further called as the job analysis. And over here, in the quantitative analysis, it is further subdivided into two parts called as demand forecasting and supply forecasting. Right? चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So now what is job analysis and what is all of this? I am going to explain you that. First of all, let's talk about demand forecasting, right? What is demand forecasting? In the demand forecasting, I would like to know that what is the demand of the employees in my organization, or what is the demand of workers in my organization. Very simply put, I would like to know that in different parts of my organization, as suppose I am an HR, so I would like to know that in different parts of my organization, what is the need of manpower, कितने लोगों की ज़रूरत है. Now the methods employed could be primitive, could be advanced as well. So I'll just list out few methods which are important, right? So number one, we have, wait for a second. Yes. So number one, what I'm having is called as management judgment. Now this is a kind of primitive method. How I am going to tell you, this is the number one method that we have in demand forecasting, and this is a primitive method. How it is primitive? So management judgment means, suppose I am HR, right, and you are production head. So I would ask you that how many people are required in your department, right? I am going to ask you कि कितने लोग आपके department में ज़रूरी हैं. This is called as management judgment. You are directly asking to the supervisor or to the head that how many people are needed by him or her. So this is the number one method. Then we have post managerial judgment. We have workload analysis. What is this workload analysis? Workload analysis means, suppose in this particular year I would like to sell 1 lakh crores turnover, right? I would like to have 1 lakh rupee worth of turnover. Now out of this particular 1 lakh rupee turnover, I am going to divide it into production units. That in order to have a turnover of 1 lakh crores, how many units I need to sell? So suppose I need to sell 10 lakh units for it, right? So I found out that I have to achieve a turnover of 1 lakh crore. For that I need to sell 10 lakh units. That means I need to produce 10 lakh units. For 1 unit production I need 240 labor hours, right? For 1 unit production I need 240 labor hours. So this is how I am going to multiply it, that okay, for 1 unit these are the many labor hours I need, okay? And what is the available labor hours with me? This is going to tell me that what is the number of required men in my organization. Basically what you are doing is the kind of work you want to achieve and what is the hours that you want to have for it. Labor hours, obviously. So this gives you a workload analysis, right? So this is totally called as work analysis. It is combined as workload as well as the workforce analysis. Both the things are combined over here. Not going much into detail over here because what I'm discussing today with you is the overview, that these are the future topics that I'm going to discuss with you. And also this is just to give you a brief understanding, a bird eye view, without what you can say, without giving you something which you are not able to understand. We want to discuss the things precisely, okay? We will be discussing through notes as well, but this is just to give you a bird's eye view. So this is workload analysis. And lastly we have some other measures as well. Like, what are these measures? Probability, fine, this is also used. Then we also have a model called as the Briggs-Smith model. In this model also, what you do is you want to find out that what is the sales you need to make, right? What is the labor hours available with you? What is the production capacity that you are having? And this is how you calculate the demand forecasting. Just do not create a fuss over it right now. Just understand with me that okay, these are the methods how NHR finds out that what is the need of manpower in its organization. अब एक बार आपको पता चल गया कि आपके organization में कितने लोगों की ज़रूरत है, post that what should be your work? Your work should be the supply forecasting. Right? Supply forecasting. This is going to be your second work. Supply forecasting simply means that how many people you think you have the sources to supply for. ठीक है, किस तरीके से supply जो है वो आएगी. So the number one method over here is succession analysis. This is really important for you guys. So just have a look onto it. This is succession analysis. Now what does succession means? See, you have high post. There are different forms of succession that you have, right? Basically, suppose there is a person. We can take the example of the CEO of your TCS, right? Even the Tata group, they have a leadership pipeline. That means the people who are at lower level, they are going to be promoted, and through this particular succession, at one time they will be fit enough to lead the group. This is called as succession. Now suppose if I have joined an organization, a corporate at a managerial level, मैंने managerial level पे जो है join किया है. Now what are my ambitions? My ambitions are that one day I'm going to reach at a top post. मैं एक top post पे पहुंचूंगी. That is my ambition. So this is called as the succession analysis. right? So over here, what kind of successions you seek? You see that how many people are going to be promoted. Fine. So I do not have space over here, so just understand that promotions, transfers, right? These are all the, what you can say, mechanisms of succession analysis. And obviously, as an HR, you want to create a leadership pipeline. See, if I have spent my 5 years in an organization, I know in and out about the organization. It will be good enough that I am promoted as a top manager because I know everything about the organization. If you are going to hire a person from outside, he will not be having such kind of information which I am having. So this is also called as supply forecasting, where we see that suppose if a post of CEO is vacant, if the post of CEO is vacant, then you look that which are the people in the organization which are eligible for the promotion, right? So this is called as a succession analysis. Now next is Markov analysis. Now this is a slightly tricky model. In this model we use the probability of promotion, demotion and stagnation, right? Promotion, demotion and stagnation. So basically what I want to know is that how many people are there at a certain level, middle, top or lower level, how many people are there? What are the chances of the people at middle level to be promoted to higher level, and what are the chances that people at middle level, they are going to be demoted at lower level, right? So we want to seek the probability, and this is what this model is all about, called as the Markov analysis. Right? This is called as the Markov analysis. And after that, see, these are the two primary models that we have for the succession related things. After that, we have one more. This is called as a renewal analysis. So basically here you would be liking to know that how many renewals you are going to do in the organization, right? Here we are talking about that if one person has left and there has been created a vacancy, then what are your decisions to fill that particular vacancy? For example, I'm going to give you the example. Suppose in my organization, 100 people have left the organization, right? 100 people have left the organization. Now instead of hiring new 100 people, in place of these, the organization might decide that what we are going to do is that we are going to ask for overtime from other workers. हम overtime के लिए बोलेंगे. So if the people are doing overtime, then organization says that we are going to hire only 90 persons. The number of people who have left the organization is 100, but the number of people the organization have decided to fill in is 90. So this is called as the renewal analysis. इसको क्या कहा जाता है? Renewal analysis, and this is the part of supply forecasting, where you want to see that what are your sources of supply, right? Internal transfers, etc. One more thing, either you can use succession analysis, or you can use Markov, or you can use obviously renewal analysis. These are in or. Either you use managerial judgment, or you use workload analysis, right? Or you use probability, or you use Burek-Smith model. Now let me tell you the base of all these. The base of all these remains same, right? The base is same. Over here we want to know what is the demand. Over here we want to know what is the supply, right? From where we are going to put people into the post which are falling vacant, right? This is the what you can say intention of supply forecasting. Having said that, we have discussed this particular part of quantitative analysis. Now I am going to discuss the job analysis. Okay, I'll be discussing job analysis and we shall be needing a completely newer page for that. Okay. Job analysis has two parts. One is called as job description and the other one is called as the job specification. Let us see this. Job description and job specification. Right? So these are the two parts of job analysis. Number one, let's talk about job description. Now this is called as something where you want to see the attitude of people. So the whole purpose of doing job analysis is attitude. Right? Here what we would like to see, the attitude. Now number one thing, we shall be discussing about job description. What is job description? So the people who are already working, obviously you guys know about what is a job description. A job description talks about the job and the features of the job. For example, if an organization is hiring for the job of accountant, so they are going to list job description. You can also call it as job duties, that you need to take care of stock, right? You need to take care of the wages management. You need to do the journal entries, right? You need to see the so you need to do the scrutiny of ledger analysis, right? You have to find out the errors in the trial balance. So these are the normal works of a accountant that he's going to do. So job description talks about the characteristics of job. This is called as characteristics of job. So basically in job description, a person will be told about the job roles, the role he needs to play, right? The tools that he is going to handle, right? The machineries that he is going to operate. Okay? The roles, the tools, the machineries, all of them are part of job description. Now, how does a good job description should look like? So, number one thing, it needs the detailed analysis of the job. How you can do the detailed analysis of the job? By obviously watching over. Fine, a worker is doing his task and you can, as a manager, you can just watch that what is the task he is performing. Number one way. Number two way, you can do the questionnaire thing. So I am the HR manager and I am asking my worker that okay, this is the work you perform, what is the time that you are taking in over, right? How you are handling this particular machine, do you know the standard of practice over here? So this is how you will be able to know the role, the tools, the machines, right? And this is how you are going to create a job description. Why a job description is needed? Because when you are going to hire a person, जब आप किसी person को hire करते हैं for the role in your organization, then you would like to tell that particular person that see, this is the role that you need to play, right? And this you get to know through job description, right? ये आपको job description से पता चलेगा. Now next thing is called as a job specification. So like I have told, job description talks about characteristics of job, job specification talks about characteristics of person. Right, this is called as the characteristics of person. Now what are the characteristics of person? See, if you see the army related job, now in armies there are kinds of SSB interviews, right? They do take SSB interviews, although pardon me if I do not know much about it, but I have, whatever I have heard about them is that in SSB interviews they want to analyze your personality, right? Whether you will be fit for the army role or not, right? whether you have the required mindset or not, आपका दिमाग उस हिसाब से चलता है या फिर नहीं चलता है. So these are all what the aims of having the person in the army, right? So in the job specification, they would like to talk about the educational qualification required, right? What is the educational qualification of the person that is needed? Next, what is the experience is needed? Right? Next thing is, what are the, what you can say, the qualities and traits. Now, like for the exam, for example, for the jobs of being an army person, or for the job of being air hostess, or for the job of being a journalist, they all require different kinds of physical as well as the mental capabilities. So obviously the organizations, they do list about the kind of features that they are looking into a candidate. Okay, now this job description and job specification, they have got advanced, right? They have, because as the human society changes, there are changes in obviously the learning part as well. So now we do see, instead of job description, we see the role analysis. So we have some modern versions called as role analysis and skills analysis. Okay, role analysis. See, in the job description you have been told that how you have to make pizza, right? This is the job description that you have been provided, that okay, you have to use these tools, you have to use these machines, right? These are your tasks, etc., etc., and this is how to you may have to make a pizza. Now you have told the job, but you have not seen that what is the impact that is coming on to the customers, right? So this is the part of role analysis, where we want to see that whether ultimate aim is achieved or not. So the ultimate aim is, the ultimate value that has been created is that whether the pizza is delivered to the customer on time or not. ठीक है, time पे deliver कर रहे हैं या फिर नहीं. So this is where the role analysis helps me. Now number 2, I have the skills analysis, right? Wait for a second. Yes. So we have ultimately skills analysis. What do we mean by skills analysis? So in this particular thing, I break down the job. I break down the job. Then I see that, just wait for a second. Yes. So first of all, I break down the job and then I see that what are the skills applied. What are the skills that are applied? Okay. Means while doing the job, the person who was doing the job, what are the kinds of skill he has applied, and after that I am also going to see what were the skills that were needed to be applied. Right, what were the skills that were needed to be applied? So basically, if the skills that were required were honesty, presence of mind in a government department, right? You should be integral enough, you should be having integrity, you should be having honesty, you should not be taking the corruption. These were the skills that were needed to be applied by you, but what you have done is that you have not applied those skills. Just wait for a second. Yes. So what were the skills that were needed to be applied? You have been asked to stay without corruption, but while doing this, you have shown the honesty, you have shown that you have not been corrupted, but ultimately what you have been doing, you have left the welfare objective being a government officer, right? So you are not that much visible about the welfare of the person. So that is why those were the skills that were not applied by you being a government official. That's where you are lacking, and this is what comes as a part of skills analysis, right? Having said that, now see the next thing. So what impacts the HRP? What impacts HRP, human resource planning? So basically there are various factors which impact it. Number one is the nature of organization. Okay, nature of organization, then age of organization, then you have competitors, right? Post that, labor market conditions. These are the things. Basically, nature of organization, if you are an airline company, what you are going to do, you are always in the habit of recruitment, right? Because there is an age restriction. Then you have age of organization, you have the competitors. If your competitors are doing head hunting, your competitors are aggressive, then you need to be aggressive as well. If your organization is old enough, you also have to do the retirement of people. You have to be responsible for that as well. And ultimately, obviously, the labor market conditions talk about that if in the market there is a huge supply of labor, then obviously you can be a little lenient in the human resource planning. But if there is crunch of labor, then you have to act accordingly. So these were the things that I wanted to discuss today. I hope you have got the overview. If you did like the video, please do not give us a thumbs up. Please do not forget to give us a thumbs up, and thank you so much for joining in.